want to talk about peace. I want to talk about Yahweh's peace.
Hallelujah.
How many happy to be here today?
Hallelujah.
So thankful to see so many of you today. Praise Yahweh for this another opportunity to stand behind
Thank you.
this historical roster
Thank you.
and to be a part of this worship experience.
Hallelujah.
Thank Him for another week He's brought us through. So happy today to have my mother and my father.
Hallelujah.
Yahweh is good.
All the time. Hallelujah.
How many of you know He's good all the time?
Hallelujah.
I'm thankful to have my beautiful daughter with me today.
Hallelujah.
She flew in last night and Mrs. Roster is with us today.
Hallelujah.
Mr. Roster wanted to be here today. We thank Yahweh that he had a heart to be here today. We praise Yahweh for him
Hallelujah.
and for all that Yahweh has allowed to happen in their lives. We're thankful for our companion. Praise Yahweh for marriage today.
Pray that the believers certainly will be in prayer with us on Tuesday, which will be the final chemo treatment for Sister Margaret.
Hallelujah.
And we already know that Yahweh has given her that peace that I'm going to talk about today.
Hallelujah.
I love Yahweh's peace, especially when you know who Yahweh is. I told you on last Sunday, for some who were not here, Yahweh has quite a sense of humor. Yesterday was kind of high, wasn't it?
Hallelujah.
I mean, experienced some heat yesterday. Experienced a little heat.
Hallelujah.
You see how much you remember from last Sunday. How many miles is the sun from the earth?
93 million.
Thank you, Brother Anthony. All right. You moved to the head of the class.
Hallelujah.
93 million miles away from the earth. And yesterday we said it was high. Imagine if the sun was just 100,000 miles away from the earth. I can tell you if it was 100,000 miles away from the earth, there would be no earth. The sun is 10 times the size of the earth. And it is called a star. I had the privilege on last night to be in the company of my sister Renee and Pastor Parks at their home. Sister Margaret and I had a chance to dine on some lobster biscuit.
Hallelujah.
Biscuit?
Biscuit. Lobster biscuit.
You know, what y'all call it, old biscuit, or whatever. I had some lobster soup last night. And it was good. But in that conversation, we were talking, and we got into some biblical dialogue. And I wanted to give them just an idea of how huge and how awesome and how mind-blowing we little human beings are when it comes to this creator who created us. All right. They recently took a trip to Naples, Florida. They recently got back on a little vacation and was telling me about the beautiful beach and all. And I said, you know, had I known you guys were going to Naples, I would have asked you to bring me some sand back. They said, sand? I said, yeah. I have, you know, I collect Burger King and McDonald's, especially the hardest big plastic cups, because after I drink my tea and stuff, you know, they're good at night with ice in them and water. I mean, just hold a lot of water. Anybody here like those big cups beside me? Okay, well, I got a few in here like cups, but I collect those cups. And I gave them a little scenario that I thought was interesting. They looked at me, I said, you know, if I had known you guys were going to Naples, I would have given you an assignment. They said, what kind of assignment were you given us? I said, I would have had you to fill that cup up with sand. fill the hardest cup up with sand? I said, absolutely. Then I would have had you to come home, and I would have given you an assignment. Just a hardest cup. The beach at Naples in Florida would never miss the sand. Nobody would even know the sand was gone. But you guys would have been home with this cup of sand. How awesome is God? Well, let's see. Here's your assignment, Renee and Daryl. I'm going to give both of you a set of medical tweezers. And I'm going to ask you to take out a pebble of sand, just a pebble, and place it on the table. I want you to count the pebbles that you take out. I want you to count every pebble in the cup filled with sand. I'm going to give you until next year to count those pebbles. I asked the question, do you think you guys will be finished by next year counting those pebbles of sand in that one little Hardy's cup? Well, how awesome is y'all? Let's take a look. I don't know how many beaches are on the earth. Don't know. I can't even tell you how much sand is on the earth. But this blows my mind. Every pebble of sand on the earth, Brother O, Yahweh knows every last pebble. Yahweh says in his word that the stars that we view in the heavens, that we see under that beautiful curtain that he allows us to see on a beautiful, just an awesome night when it's dark and it's lit up like jewels in the sky.
That's right.
He allows us to see a few of those. We have no idea how far away they are from the earth, but we can see them lit up. The sun is but a star. It's 93 million miles away from the earth, and yet yesterday it was hot. Yahweh said the stars that are in the heavens outnumber the pebbles of sand on the earth.
Hallelujah.
And every star that's in the heavens, Yahweh gave them a name.
Hallelujah.
I would have to marinate for a second. They're in a computer nowhere on any of the planets that he made, on any of Earth itself. Everything is antiquated by design. How in the world can you come up with a word that says innumerable? Meaning y'all don't have a number. You can't come up with a number of the stars that I made.
Hallelujah.
And I know every last one of them by name, and that was an awesome task that I gave Daryl and Renee. I give you 1 year to take every pebble of sand out that cup. And I guarantee you in a year's time, you'll still be counting pebbles of sand. And yet today we come to remember the death, burial, and resurrection of our Savior, who came down, wrapped himself in flesh. Who was the Word?
Hallelujah.
In the beginning was the Word.
Hallelujah.
And the Word was with Yahweh.
Yes.
And the Word was. Moses put it this way in the 90th Psalm. Before the mountains were even formed, and the earth that we know today was brought forth, or even was birthed, was even created, he says, I was Yahweh.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
He was Yahweh before there was a word. that we can physically read. He gave us the word. He, Yahweh, gave us the word. He was Yahweh before there was a word. His word is not above his name. His name is above his word.
Hallelujah.
He gave us the word. He wasn't in the universe looking for answers. He answers to nobody. He is the beginning and the end. Some said he's the Alpha and the what? Omega. He has no daddy and he has no mom.
Hallelujah.
But we are his children. I am that I am is what King James chose to put with the translators in the King James Version Bible, but properly interpreted or translated Yahshua.
Hallelujah.
I will be whatever I want to be anytime.
Hallelujah.
You ever met anybody who could be anything they want to be anytime? I love the fact that if you need a lawyer this morning, Yahweh is a lawyer.
Hallelujah.
If you need a doctor this morning, Yahweh is a doctor.
Hallelujah.
You need a judge this morning, Yahweh is a judge. What about a counselor?
Hallelujah.
If you need a psychiatrist today, can't nobody do anything with your mind like Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
I'd rather talk to the creator of my mind than the one who is practicing on my mind.
Hallelujah.
I'd rather deal with the doctor who knows my body inside and out.
Hallelujah.
All of us done been to the barber shop and the salon and all the hair that we done have cut off over the years. He knows every hair on your body. Every hair on your body. Not just your body, but everybody's body.
Hallelujah.
Not only does he know every hair on your body and everybody else's body, he knows every scale on every fish. How many fish in the sea? He knows every scale on every fish. He told Job in the 38th chapter of Job, he said, Job, where were you when I created the earth? As a matter of fact, Job, tell me, if you can, how deep is the ocean?
Hallelujah.
How deep is it? How big is earth? Up above it, as far as you can see, Job, how far does that go? Planets upon planets upon planets. Scientists have actually really given up.
Hallelujah.
Yahweh says, my ways are past. Yahweh said, my ways are past finding out.
That's right. Hallelujah.
My thoughts are not your thoughts. Neither my ways are your ways. Yahweh said, I allow you to create powerful microscopes, and I'll let you peek at a little bit of my creation. I let you see just a little bit. And as time is going on, we think we done made some advances. We peering out into the space, thinking about the final frontier, the boldly go where no man has gone before.
Hallelujah.
And while you try to boldly go where no man has gone before, you can't even tell me on earth how deep the ocean is. With all our military power, China, Russia, the United States, the big world powers, we don't have a submarine on the earth that can go to the bottom of the ocean.
Hallelujah.
Yet we looking up them. We ain't done with this one yet. And I truly believe that the whale, as we know it, is not the largest creature in the ocean. I can't prove it,
Hallelujah.
but I can tell you that there have been some interesting occurrences and phenomena that have happened.
Hallelujah.
They found a huge, I don't know how many tons this whale was, that had chunks bitten out of it. And they were trying to determine what could have done that. And when you
Hallelujah.
think about big chunks,
Yes.
there ain't nothing in the ocean as far as we know bigger than a whale. It wasn't a killer whale. Certainly wasn't a great white. Those would look like small little chunks compared to what happened to this thing. And all they wrote it off is by saying, we don't know what that was.
Hallelujah.
Yahweh has reserved a host of devils, demons, spirits, fallen angels
Yes.
that are now in captivity, that have been chained in captivity. Scripture says.
Hallelujah.
Yahweh is going to release them upon the earth. Very soon. And if you think what we've been encountering, words like turmoil, devastation, the uncertainty, the unknown. These are the anxieties and the things that we live in an uncertain world today. There is no but one recourse for anybody who has any sense. Establish a relationship with Yahweh himself and his son.
Hallelujah.
Simple as that.
Hallelujah.
Take a rocket scientist to try to figure that out. A relationship with Yahweh is paramount. You know, and I'm often amazed how people become so educated when they come face to face with the Grim Reaper. Isn't it amazing how death can get your attention? If you've ever been there, close to it, or experienced it, it is a feeling where you have no control.
Hallelujah.
There was a story that Sister Margaret had some years ago. I'll give it to you in short. Two angels visit Earth. And they spent the night at two places. And in that story, well, it is okay. I don't have to paraphrase. Sister Margaret, you on time. Okay.
Hallelujah.
We were trying to debate. This reading was given to us a year ago. We'll see how many of you remember this. Two traveling angels stopped to spend the night in the home of a wealthy family. The family was rude and refused to let the angels stay in the mansion's guest room. Instead, the angels were given a small space in a cold basement. As they made their bed on the hard floor, the older angel saw a hole in the wall and repaired it. Repaired the hole in the wall. When the younger angel asked why, the older angel replied, things aren't always what they seem. Things aren't always what they seem. The next night, the pair came to rest at the house of a very poor but very hospitable farmer and his wife. After sharing what little food they had, the couple let the angels sleep in their bed, where they could have a good night's rest. When the sun came up the next morning, the angels found the farmer and his wife in tears. Their only cow, whose milk had been their sole income, lay dead in the field. The younger angel was infuriated and asked the older angel, how could you have let this happen? The first man had everything, Yet you helped him, you repaired the hole in the wall. He accused him. The second family had little, but was willing to share everything, and you let their cow die. Things aren't always what they seem. The old angel replied, when we stayed in the basement of the mansion, I noticed there was gold stored in the hole in the wall. Gold. Since the owner was so obsessed with greed and unwilling to share his good fortune, I sealed the wall so he would not find it. And by the way, the old angel said, last night as we slept in the farmer's bed, the death angel came to take his wife. I instead chose to give the death angel the cow.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Things aren't always what they seem. Sometimes that is exactly what happens when things don't turn out the way they should. If you have faith, you just need to trust that every outcome is always, if you have faith, you just need to trust that every outcome is always to your advantage. You just might not know it until sometime later.
Hallelujah.
Things not always what they seem.
Hallelujah.
Give Yahweh praise for that. Today we have beautiful reading on the back, A Joyful Heart. My daughter's favorite tune is the March Key. She can hum a few notes, and she associates it with joyful times. When our family get together, we often hum this song along with claps, and the children parade around in circles to the beat. Our joyful noise reminds me of the song that encourages us to worship Yahweh with gladness. When King Solomon dedicated the temple, the Israelites celebrated with praise. Psalms may have been one of the songs they sang. They sang, shout for joy to Yahweh all the earth. Worship Yahweh with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, and in his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. Why? For Yahweh is good, and his love endureth how long? Yahweh is good, and he loves us. In grateful response, let's shout for joy to Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Thank Yahweh for Sister Margaret. And that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful prayer. I chose to sing Peace Be Still this morning because I want to revisit that miraculous event that took place on the Sea of Galilee. And as I'm reminded, it was a little boat. It was a little boat that housed 13 bodies. 12 of the bodies that was in the little boat on the Sea of Galilee were in rage. They were being tormented. And the spirit, presence of fear, had also come aboard on the boat. But there was a 13th occupant on the boat who was sleeping down by the stern. I said he was sleeping down by the stern.
Hallelujah.
But before I go to the new covenant, I want to go to a passage that we've heard for years. In the 6th chapter of the book of Numbers, I want you to turn quickly with me. Numbers chapter 6. And we are reminded that the author of this book is who? Moses. We're going to start at the 24th verse. Well, actually, we're going to start at 22nd. Yahweh said to Moses, tell Aaron and his sons, this is how you are to bless the Israelites. Say to them, this is how you bless the Israelites. Say to them, Yahweh bless you and keep you. Yahweh make his face to shine upon you and be compassionate to you. Yahweh turn his face toward you and give you peace. So they will put my name on the Israelites and I will bless them. Let me say that again. Here's what you say to the Israelites. Say to them, Yahweh bless you and keep you. Yahweh make his face shine upon you and be compassionate to you. You have gracious. Yahweh turn his face toward you and give you peace. So they will put my name on the Israelites and I will bless them.
Hallelujah.
They are Yahweh's. You are Yahweh's.
Hallelujah.
You're called by your father's name.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
You are not Christians.
Hallelujah.
You are Yahweh's.
Hallelujah.
The word Christian basically means to be Christ-like. Christ-like, the word Christ, of course, comes from the Greek word Christos, which does not mean anointed one. And when you think about these titles and different names that we've been handed down through translations, Satan did work overtime trying to rob Yahweh and take his honor and his splendor away from him.
Hallelujah.
Confusing the masses by calling him all different kind of titles and different names. I'm amazed when people say Yahweh has many names. This morning in praise and worship, I deliberately and chose to say out during praise and worship various attributes,
Hallelujah.
which are not names.
Hallelujah.
We know him as Yahweh Shalom. Yahweh, who is the one of what? Peace.
Hallelujah.
We know him as Yahweh Shammah, who is always present and there. We know him as Yahweh Yahweh, which he's Yahweh our what? Provider. We know him as Yahweh Nissi, which is who? Yahweh our banner. We know him as Yahweh Elyon, which is who? Yahweh of hosts. When you think about Yahweh Tiskanu, our righteousness, Yahweh Mekadeshim, the one that's set aside, not sanctified, but the one that's set aside. When you think of him as Yahweh, the Ruach and the Emet, what is he? Spirit and in truth. Word tells us there's only one way you can worship Yahweh. The scripture says the only way to worship Yahweh is in what? Yahweh is a spirit. And they that would worship Yahweh, the scripture says, must worship him in what? For Yahweh seeketh such to worship him.
That's right.
You can't worship him in a lie.
You gotta worship him in what? In spirit and in truth.
Hallelujah.
When I think about Mark chapter 4 today, Mark chapter 4 and verse, I'm not gonna be long. Yahweh is good, isn't he?
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
We sing practically every Sunday. There's a peace I've come to know.
Oh, yeah.
Though my heart and flesh may what?
Fail.
There's an anchor of the soul. Mark chapter 4, verse 39. We're going to start reading at the 35th verse. There's a peace I've come to know, though my heart and flesh may fail. There's an anchor of the soul. We can say it's what? It's well. Yahshua has overcome. And we know the grave didn't hold him down, did it? We've come today to celebrate, to remember his death, burial, and resurrection. Because unlike any other force that's ever been on the earth, there's never been and never will be anybody like our Savior, Yahshua Messiah.
Hallelujah.
There is something that will impede all of us. That word impede is used a lot in the world of education. Which means basically to stop,
Slow down.
or to hinder, to prohibit. And Satan works overtime to impede our relationship with Yahweh. He's always looking to put obstacles and distractions in our way, so we will never be the recipients of the peace
That's right.
that he chose to give us. Did you know that Yahshua chose to give us a peace that this world don't quite understand?
Hallelujah.
Mm.
And the peace that I'm going to talk about today is not peace that you can purchase. This is peace that's given. He chose to give it. But look what he did. Many might remember this story. In the book of Mark chapter 4, starting at the 35th verse. The day when evening came, he said to his disciples, "Let us go over to the other side." Look at your neighbor and say, "Neighbor, let's go over to the other side." Now, when you think about going over to the other side, that's a very positive statement, meaning that that's where we're going. And who said it? Yahshua the Messiah said, "Let us go over to the other side." Now, I want you to keep in mind that Yahshua always have in our thought capacity that we are regimented and we are already programmed to go over to the other side. See, when you're programmed to do something, it's been instilled in you.
All right.
It's habit forming. You look at your situation, you say, "Oh, wait a minute, hold it. Gotta go over to the other side. Gotta go over to the other side, because I can see right now, this side right now is trying to tie me down and shake me. Shake my faith." But look, he said to the disciples, "Let's go over to the other side." Leaving the crowd behind, they took him along just as he was in the boat. There were also other boats with him. A furious squall came up, and the waves broke over the boat, so that it was nearly swamped, nearly covered. Yahshua was in the stern, sleeping on a cushion. You got to be comfortable when you sleep. He's sleeping on a cushion, and the 12 are up top. And the water is covering the boat in the Sea of Galilee. Now I can see him snuggle. I can see him chilling. Yahshua kind of laid back, and I don't know if he's snoring or not, but I can see him relaxing. And he was asleep.
Hallelujah.
Scripture didn't say he was meditating. Scripture didn't say he was halfway asleep. Scripture didn't say he had one eye open and one eye shut. Say he was asleep.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, he's sleeping on a cushion. Look at here. The disciples woke him and said to him, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" Now remember, when they got in the boat, what did Yahshua say? Let us go over to where? To the other side.
That's right.
Yet they got in the boat. Don't you care if we drown? Now look, Yahshua already knew what had happened on top side of the boat. And oftentimes, here's what happens to us. When situations come in our life that's beyond us and we can't handle it, we get company who invites itself into our circle.
That's right.
That company is called fear. The scripture says Yahweh has not given us the what? Spirit of who? Fear. Fear is a spirit. And how do you know that spirit of fear does its job well? What's your measuring rod to know that fear did a job on you? When doubt comes, fear has done its justice.
That's right.
Yahweh said, I ain't gave you no spirit of fear, but of a. Now that sound mind is a mind that's focused. Your mind has to always be focused. Satan has only one recourse when it comes to your mind: distract. Get you off course. If he can distract your mind, get you off course, he's got your attention.
Hallelujah.
Once he gets your attention, then fear does its thing.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Questions and things like, you ain't gonna make it. It ain't looking good. Girl, if I was you, brother, if I was you, I'd just give up.
Hallelujah.
I'll throw in the towel. Throw your hands up and just say to life, I'm gone.
Hallelujah.
And all the time, Yahweh is standing back. And he said, what did my son say to the disciples? Let us go over to what?
The other side.
To the other side. Look. It says, he got up, rebuked the wind, said to the waves, quiet, shut it down, be still. Now, there were 13 in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. The one who had the power was asleep.
13.
And here's what he said, why y'all sitting here being afraid? What you afraid of? Matter of fact, where is your faith?
Promise. Hallelujah.
Where is it? How is it that our faith, when tested under pressure, wanes and becomes weak? Under the voice of fear. Here's when a Yahweh knows that he or she is growing. When you take power and authority over your situation, I don't care what it is.
Hallelujah.
He told the disciples, I have given you authority and power to tread upon serpents and scorpions and over the power of who? The enemy. And nothing,
That's right.
nothing by any means shall do what? Harm you.
Promise.
Now, when you think about it, you write a promise.
Hallelujah.
If Yahweh said it,
Yes, sir.
that settles. And I hear that in church. Yeah, honey.
13.
Yahweh said it, that settles it. Well, what happens when that fear spirit comes?
All right.
And you find yourself on shaky ground.
Hallelujah.
You're questioning whether or not by his stripes we look to be healed.
Hallelujah.
What did the scripture say?
Right.
What if you can sit here in this assembly and you know we strong around each other. We bad. We bad with the numbers. We bad with the numbers. You notice how loud we get when we're around brothers? Oh yeah. Yeah. Hold that chest. Oh, yeah, yeah. YAHWEH. Yeah. Okay. Get by yourself. Get cornered. Get cornered by some folk who are pretty thorough in the word and see where you stand.
Hallelujah.
It ain't good just to know a couple of scriptures. Because somebody well versed will eat you alive. Tell you out. Somebody said, tell you, come get out the frame. And the reason they tell you out the frame is because you've not spent enough time in Yahweh's word.
Hallelujah.
And Yahweh's word is not in you. How can you meditate day and night on something that ain't in you?
Hallelujah.
Ain't no time to pick up the phone, call minister so-and-so, brother so-and-so, bishop so-and-so. Pastor, where's that scripture found so-and-so, so-and-so? Why are you calling me asking me where the scripture's found? You in service every Sunday. Send me a nod in your head. I got it, Pastor, got it. Ain't nobody waving no handkerchief, that's good. Faith cometh by what?
Hearing.
And hearing what?
Word.
Let's make the word hearing then. Faith cometh by understanding.
Right.
And understanding the word. You can hear the word all day long and don't understand it.
Right.
So when does the word become food for your soul? Why is it important to take time to understand? Look, you're perishing. Here's why you perish. Here's why you perish. And there are folk today who are still. Here's what was going on in that boat. Those 12 disciples had rage going on inside. They had torment going inside themselves individually. They had lost their focus on the fact that Yahshua said before you got into the boat, let us go over to what?
The other side.
Then he asked the question, he gets up and says to the wind, calm it down.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Said to the waves, now look at this, waves covering the ship, covering the boat, not a ship, a boat. Waves coming up and covering the boat. He said, be still.
Hallelujah.
Right there.
Water and waves, shut it down, like somebody cut the faucet off. And he stand back and look at you, he said, didn't I say earlier we were going to the other side?
Oh, yeah.
Why do you come in this church every Sunday? If you come in this church every Sunday and your faith is still where it was 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, that's a problem.
All right.
That's a problem. Yahweh gives all of us a measure of faith. How does our faith grow?
Right.
Faith has to be applied.
That's right.
Right.
Minister Butler said something this morning about a hoarder collecting a lot of stuff. What good does it do to come to church every Sunday, take notes in your scripture, write them down, look studious, as if you are really, really enjoying the service? This is really great. Pastor's giving some good word. word means absolutely nothing come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, if you don't put it in the application.
All right.
What's the good to have dead presidents in your wallet and you never spend them? You walk around with a pocket full of money. You're not eating, you're homeless, got a pocket full of money. And somebody said, man, you ain't broke, you got a pocket full of money. I do. Then somebody said, you a child of Yahweh, aren't you? Uh-huh. Well, you got authority, don't you? I do. What authority do you have? Sick? Yes. The effectual fervent prayer of the righteous availeth much. If there be any sick among you, send for the elders of the church, and they will lay hands upon you, and you shall recover. Now, when you think about when you can't find the elders of the church, what you do then? If I've given you authority, now I've put in you the Ruach HaKodesh. Who is the Ruach HaKodesh and what does he do? What is his capabilities? Matter of fact, what are his credentials? Here is his credentials. You walk around with all this authority and power and don't even use it. I'm sending a comforter. First of all, here's one who's going to console you, who's going to be strength to you, who's going to be power to you, who's going to be a counselor to you. And here's one who's going to put you on the path to truth.
Hallelujah.
Because in the Ruach HaKodesh, there is no lying. There's no deception. There's no deceit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to send you a comforter, and he will lead you and guide you into what? No, some. A little bit. He'll get back with you. All truth. Now, if I have already been told I'm going to get over to the other side, if you've already showed me the fact that you prophesied over in the book of Joel, if I be lifted up, I'm going to do what? Then you know all this stuff. I'm amazed on Sunday. I'm amazed. Believers can spit it back on. I know the scriptures. Pastor E, I've been around the word a long time. Scripture is in me. And I said, who did you? Scripture is in you, but what does that mean? When does scripture become alive? Let me see. When does this book right here become alive?
When I use it.
When you what? When you apply. Faith is the substance of things. If you hope for something and you can see it, what are you hoping for? Why am I going to pray to Yahweh to heal my body when my body needs to be healed and I can't see my body healed? If my body is healed, why am I going to pray to Yahweh to heal my body?
No joke.
It takes faith to step out on nothing. Nothing. And to believe what? Here's your conversation. We're going over to the other side. Here's your conversation. Yahweh, this is your temple.
Yes.
This belongs to you. This ain't mine. This is your temple. You live and reside in here. You run this ship. You waking up in the morning, you flow the blood through it, every muscle, every tendon, everything in it belongs to you.
Hallelujah.
You told me you're never going to forsake me. You told me you're going to always take care of me. You told me in my weakest moments you will always be there. My strength is in you. My trust is in you. My total confidence is in you.
Yes.
Now, when you talking like that, that spirit of fear got two things he gonna do. Ray Charles said, hit the road, Jack, and don't come back no more. No more. And And when he decided to come back, I rebuke you, Satan.
Right.
In whose name? Well, here's why you rebuke him. Let's go to Philippians. Let's go to Philippians. Yahweh's good. In the book of Philippians. He's at peace. They're passive, all understanding. Before we go to Philippians, let's look at John 14:27. I want to give you that name. Let me give you John 14. I hope you're writing these down. This is your meal. This is your meal for this week. 14:27, and it says on this what? Peace I leave with you. I do what? I'm leaving my peace with you. Peace I give. Who gives it to you? Yahshua. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. Now you know, it's amazing. In Philippians chapter 4 and 27, I'm sorry, Philippians chapter 4 and 7, we're reminded from the Apostle Paul to the assembly at Philippi, starting at the 4th verse. Philippians chapter 4, starting at the 4th verse. Which remember Philippians 4 and 4. Rejoice in Yahweh how long?
Always.
Rejoice in Yahweh how long?
Always.
Always. I say, I'm going to say it again, he says. Rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. Yahweh, Yahshua, is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and what? Petition. With thanksgiving, present your requests to Yahweh. And the peace of Yahweh which transcends, which goes beyond, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your mind. In who?
Yahshua.
In who?
Yahshua.
Now, the only way Yahshua could become the authority that he took precedence over peace. He said our peace is in him.
All right.
Isn't it amazing that on the Sea of Galilee, watch this. On the Sea of Galilee, the disciples were already in peace.
Yes.
Who was in the boat?
Promise.
Our peace is in who?
Yahshua.
He was in the boat.
13.
Can't get it no better.
He waited with him. He said, what you afraid about? Why are you afraid? What are you afraid of? Joshua, can't you see? Can't you see all this water coming this boat? We gonna perish. We gonna drown. We gonna drown.
Hallelujah.
What? All this time I've been with you and hidden, quiet, and we gonna drown? First of all, who in the boat with you?
Promise.
Let me ask you a question again. Who's in the boat with you?
Peace.
Who is Yahshua? Peace. Thank you, sister. Looking for some peace today? Looking for something that surpasses all understanding? See, the world knows the term serenity, but they don't know Yahweh's serenity.
Hallelujah.
The world's peace it will vasculate. It will completely evaporate.
Fascinating.
Hallelujah.
When you think about Yahweh's peace goes beyond the world's understanding.
Hallelujah.
There's a serenity that he gives you that no one else can. You know, you can be in the midst of your storm. I don't care if it's cancer.
Hallelujah.
I don't care if it's terminal disease that the doctor said, we've given up on you.
Hallelujah.
See, I know a lawyer and a doctor. I know a doctor who have never lost a patient.
Hallelujah.
And you can never experience this doctor until you walk in his courts.
Hallelujah.
Walk into his courts with praises.
Hallelujah.
I praise you, Father. My body may be wrapped in pain right now. But who can take away the pain, brother? Yahweh can take it.
Hallelujah.
And the brother wrote the song, Falling in Love with Yahshua. Is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
You know, I want to finish this piece, but I'm going to try to get back to it next Sunday. Let's give Yahweh a praise.
Hallelujah.
Yahweh's good. Remain the service in the hands of Bishop. We're going to move forward with our communion. Let's receive him with a hearty hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
With a hearty hallelujah.
Hallelujah. If you let mine, I'm gonna let it shine. If you let mine, I'm gonna let it shine. If you let mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. With this real light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Search me, y'all. Yes, search me, y'all. Those that are burdened, lift that burden. Yahweh, right now, those, hallelujah, that are stressed out, Yahweh, give them peace, give them comfort through thy name right now. We bless this communion, Yahweh, because we know that your blood was shed for the remission of sin. And we thank you for it right now. Thank you. In Yahshua's name we pray. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.